Welcome back to the Tydirium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I'm coming at you with the weekly news and review for May 7th, 2023. Of course, we've got lots of Transformers news, whether it be Masterpiece, Legends, or Mainline. There's a whole lot of other stuff to talk about. There's some new Turtles stuff that's going on. We're going to touch on that just a little bit. There's also an update on the Eternia, and then there's another Eternia. They're making another Eternia. Well, they are. It's true. It's actually quite affordable, too. But we're going to talk about all this. We're also going to discuss, well, really, you've only got 2 days left to get in on the Ramen Racer for $175. I'm not really going to go into that, but I think it's good for a reminder. You've only got 2 days. The 9th, it's going to go up to $250. So if you want one of these in black or orange, secure it for $175 in the next day or two. Also, Silverhawks, they're shipping. The next wave is starting to show up. I've got this one on the way. But I've got some stuff to say about it. As you can see, I got 3 different pictures. Nobody knows what it looks like yet. And then we've got some more stuff on the upcoming new waves and new figures and all that kind of stuff for the McFarlane Superpowers. And it's not going to be Walmart exclusive anymore. And there's a ton of Star Wars. So a lot of stuff to talk about coming up. First off, what's new at Show Z? And I have to admit, this is a fuzzy picture. It's what they had up there. I don't know why it's so fuzzy. But anyway, there are 2 figures coming in stock of the cassettes for the KFC. This is the Iron Paw, Steel Jaw, and their Rhino Horn, Ram Horn. And they are $38 a piece. They are the smaller, kind of to fit with Takara's scale and fit in all those chests. And they're coming into stock right now. I've got mine paid for. Look forward to reviewing these soon. Also with KFC, they've got up for pre-order the EAVI Metal King Gorilla Ape Face, and it's the off-white version. I think it's also kind of a metallic look to it, but it's up for pre-order, $3 down, no full price just yet. Okay, so sticking with KFC toys, this is the KFC P6X Shard BotCon exclusive. And it is a Shatterglass version of their Wreck-Gar or their Crash Hog. And I think it looks pretty cool, so it's something that kind of caught my attention. I didn't even know that this was a thing that they were working on, but it's kind of cool. $150. I think it's an Agabus exclusive, so you have to go to agabus.com to get this, and that'd be the only place you can get it. If you're interested, I love the colors of it. I'm a little tempted on it. That purple is very striking. It looks really good. But anyway, I figured I'd bring it to everyone's attention. It's simply just a repaint, but it is a really cool one. Shattered glass. So King Toys is allegedly making a triple changer called Panther J16. I think that's what it's called here. So anyway, it's pretty cool looking. So it turns into this car, and then it triple changes into this jet, and that's pretty cool too. A lot of fun right there with that jet. It's a nice looking jet too. A little bit on the underside kind of going on there, but nice cockpit and all that kind of stuff going on. And then gets into the Panther mode. The Panther has retractable wings and all that kind of stuff. You do kind of see a bit of the car mode in it, but I think it's interesting. It's cool. It's something different. I don't know if it's based on anything or just completely their own design, or maybe they were working on their Predaking and said, hey, you know what we could do? We could make this. But I still think it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. And I look forward to seeing more about this project. Okay, so YOLO Park is making some official Rise of the Beast model kits. And these are pre-painted 20 centimeter tall model kits of Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Optimus Primal. So 20 centimeters tall is about 7 inches, I believe. The math comes out to 7.87 inches tall. So I would put those around kind of just chug scale. So mainline kind of Hasbro. They look really good though, and they probably will look better than anything that Hasbro's putting out. Nothing against Hasbro, but I'm just saying these have a premium quality look to them. And that's what's going on. So this week Robosen did show some more pictures of this Optimus Prime. And as I suspected, it does not transform. And it just does all the functions that they say, kind of like Buzz Lightyear toy. Well, kind of like what the other Optimus Prime did, aside from transforming. So, I mean, that's what I'm guessing it's all going to do. And with that, I can kind of understand. This would be an ultra complex transformation. You got to kind of stick with more simplified transformations for that, which I understand 100%. But for the price that they charge for these, Again, there's no price on this yet, no release date just yet. Just a few pictures, kind of whetting people's appetite for now. So what exactly would Robosen be whetting people's appetite for? Well, they're whetting their appetite for this. They call it the Robosen flagship auto-converting G1 Grimlock. And if you think about it, Grimlock is actually a pretty simplified transformation, and almost every Grimlock utilizes the G1 transformation in some way, shape, or form. And so with that, it makes sense that this would be an auto-transfer one. They also had a video that they had put out, and they spent a few seconds focusing on Grimlock. So they kind of already revealed this, but this looks really good. No Dino mode pics just yet, but of course you get to see the side. The side view of this guy kind of shows that the wing pieces that are going to be the sides of the Dino mode are further back than I would think. They would be a little bit closer up, but that is probably has to do with transformation, all that kind of stuff. And this is a simplified transformation, but there's still quite a bit that's going to have to happen to transform this, convert this over. So I will be interested in seeing the videos on how it works and how it does it. I'm sure it's going to be impressive. I hope they can pull it off and keep it under $700. I wish they could do them for $300. Okay, so Vectron Labs put out 2 more pictures. This is the one that, in my opinion, looked different than what they've been showing. But somebody commented that they just keep showing the same prototype over and over and over and every week. But I guess they've got other things going on. I'd like to see this get released. I'd like to see a production version in people's hands, and it would be more exciting if it's moving along that way. But we do get pictures every week. At least they are posting pictures. They're active, and that's good. That's a good sign. But I really would like to see this in production, and let's see a G1 Devastator come to fruition. I want to see it, but we just keep seeing these prototype pictures every week. So it's kind of slim pickings on some Masterpiece news. I am going to be doing some digging for an upcoming future video for more Masterpiece news. So that'll be coming. Anyway, with this is the Mechanic Toy Studios Legends Scale Sandstorm. And the thing about this is that we've seen this a while back, but it's going to be the first Legends version of Sandstorm, and I really do kind of like Mechanic Studios and what they've been doing and how they put these figures out. They look really good. So it's something that they're going to satisfy a need and a niche that nobody else is touching or doing anything with, and that is kind of the wild card for Legends. And with that, I do look forward to this figure. I have it pre-ordered. It's only going to be like $30, so really awesome for a triple changer that already looks this good. $30. Speaking of Legends stuff that's pretty well priced, this is New Age, and we're one step closer to getting their power guide. I think it's a fantastic looking figure, and I always feel like I like the designs of Magic Square better, the paint on this better, but I've got to say I have another version of this. I think it was Iron Factory, and this blows Iron Factory out of the water for G1 aesthetic, of course, if you like the Iron Factory aesthetic, but I look forward to getting this whenever that time comes. And here's the alt mode, and the alt mode looks pretty cool. Does feel a lot like it's the same size, but just massively improved from the original G1, and very nice looking figure. Okay, so this is confusing, but we'll talk about it. It's the MH Mini 07 Mini Series Tiger Wing, which is Magic Square getting knocked off again. Now, I don't think Magic Square gets knocked off. I think they sell the rights to use this. But the thing that gets me is that I did the math, and it's going to be about 12 inches. They say it's 30 centimeters, which is 11.8 inches, which is about the size of the one I already got last year. So this is going to be a gift set. It's going to be an all-in-one set. You're not buying them in pieces and putting it together. But they say it's going to be a mini. It's supposed to be smaller. And it's not smaller. It's bigger than the original. But we'll see. We'll see when it comes out. I'm hoping they could put it out in maybe 1-to-1 with what Magic Square did, because 12-inch, you're into chug. You're full into the chug scale at 12-inch. At 9-inch, 10-inch, that's more or less where you need to be if you're in the Legends scale. Plus, my Legends are all on a 9-inch shelf, and I want stuff that fits. Okay, so Dr. Wu is putting out some Turbo Ramjet and Heaven Eye Cosmos. So I'm not sure. I'm guessing Shattered Glass look to these, but Still kind of interesting. It's a set of 2, no price just yet, but $1 down if you want to get it from Show Z. But this is kind of making the rounds on the internets and stuff like that, so figured I'd show it. They do look cool, interesting color schemes, and Dr. Wu is sub-Legends, even though I talk about Legends, sub-Legend scale. Dr. Wu is also making a bulkhead. This is, they call it Ultra Mini. So there is the vehicle mode, and we've got the bot mode. So interesting stuff that they're doing right here, and they're pulling off. And this just looks a whole lot like they're just kind of using the G1 mold for, say, an Inferno or something along that lines. But I don't see a problem with that though. And 2 more stickers called the Propel Thrust and the Elegy Dirge, set of 2 coming down the pipeline. If you're interested in this stuff, nice recolors right there in very, very tiny form. Okay, so Magic Square showing off their Swindle. We got to look at it last week. We already got to see him, but this is everything he's going to come with. He's got his foot and all that good stuff. So Swindle and a couple of accessories that he's going to come along with. Does look really good. Does look very animation accurate. Just spot on like Magic Square does. And then here's the alt mode looking good also. So, you know, I do love that this is so Ultra G1, like almost to a detriment in some cases, but it just, you get the feel of the cartoon when you look at this, and it looks great. I mean, I guess that's how they can get away with no paint on it, so they look like the cartoon. And then here's this. I'm going to zoom in on the leg. I hope in editing, zoom in a little bit better than I'm looking at it right now, but you get to see the leg, and yeah, it looks good. It looks good and gets the job done. Very nice job on this figure. Okay, so we've got a first look at a Legacy Evolution Voyager Junkion figure. Interesting to see what goes on with that. So Voyager meaning it's going to be the size of the other ones that we got that were G1-esque, and so I'm not sure what's going on with this past that, but will be interesting to see how it would mix in with like your Rec Guards and all that kind of stuff. But I really would like to see them continue more of those. But a Junkyard, I think that one kind of, is that the one that kind of got stuck at retail? There's one of them stuck at retail right now that just doesn't want to sell. So maybe that one shied them away from doing more, but they could short pack them. They would definitely, people would be after them. But anyhow, I'd like to see more of the G1 versions. So Transformers Prime, we've got this is a new kind of a red figure, and this one is Starscream, and it looks really good, and this is exactly what Prime should be for. Prime should be for figures like this that are like freakishly skinny, that don't make any sense for a transforming figure. What it transforms into can't look good, and so just make them in the red series and make them scale with the rest of your collection. That's what red series is for. I think it looks fantastic, because I remember the Prime series, and I think that this figure nails it, and it's one of the best red figures that they've made, if this truly is a red figure. But I think it looks great, but this is what red should have been for. We got something called the Minor Megatron, which is going to be a reuse of Siege Megatron for whatever reason, and they're making it into this, so it's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. For me, if Megatron doesn't turn into a gun, then he needs to turn into a green tank, and that's just my feelings on it. Anyhow, I don't know what they're going to do with this, or what it's going to turn into, just another tank, or something along those lines. But there it goes. We'll see in the future. Guess I could have made more continuity to this by talking about this in the Red series, so I don't have that separated out. So this is a first look at a Red Grimlock, which I don't think is great. I think it's okay, but I just don't think it's great. I don't think it really nails the Toon aesthetic very much, and I think that they've done a much better job with their Leader Class version of Grimlock, but here we go with the Red Grimlock. It's all right, and I guess it sort of matches what they've done in the past, but they could have done this so much better. It could have been a much better version of Grimlock, in my opinion. So I guess people are getting their Toxitron now, so this is one of those Optimus Prime pre-repaints that they were putting out, that I think that's how they did it. Like, we saw this first, then they put out a different version of it, the unreleased redeco of the G2 Laser Optimus Prime toy. Anyhow, however that goes, I didn't buy either one of them, so keeping the timeline straight is hard for me. This is an in-hand image, and that's what it looks like, and very interesting with those huge shoulder cannons. Here he is in his alt mode, and still kind of fun. I do think it's a nice looking, clean alt mode, and it really does look good. And that purple and green screams, 90s neon. So we're going to get some redecos from Takara on this. This is Takara Tomy Beast Wars, Cheetor, and Waspinator redecos. And I have to say that these look really good. I think that there's more paint decos on these. It would be nice to get your hands on them, but when you're used to seeing them for like $10 on clearance at several places, then, well, it's been a while, but when you saw that, it's really hard to drop like 50 or whatever they're going to ask for this set here. But I really would like Takara to figure out, how do you pre-order the Takara Motormaster? I need to get that. Where's Takara's Motormaster redeco? Because that thing's really hard to get. We got the Earthspark, Wave, Warrior, Thrash, and Megatron out at retail right now, so kind of cool stuff starting to show up. And if you're into the Earthspark stuff, it seems like it'd be a whole lot of fun. Definitely kid-oriented. Definitely playability first. Displayability, not really at all. But it's cool that they're making it. So it looks like Snarl's made it to Canada. So I don't know if they've been hitting the U.S. I haven't seen it yet, but there it is, Snarl. So we're going to be starting to round out the set. This is number 4 of the dinos. And I do want to point out, though, you might be better off pre-ordering a Robosen Grimlock than trying to track down a Studio Series Grimlock. I'm just joking, but not by much. Alright, so the pre-orders are up for the Titan Class Nemesis Legacy Evolution, and last week we looked at this. I think it looks really cool. It's fun. I don't like the $200 price point. I really don't. They make these smaller than they used to, and they charge you less, and it's not as iconic. Yes, the ship is, but not the bot that they just kind of created. I'm going to wait for sale, and I think the ARC, people were saying that there were $100 sales on the ARC, and I could have got an ARC for $100 instead of the $180 or whatever I paid. For this, I'm going to wait for a sale. If I see it for $100, I'm going to get one, maybe 2, but I don't like the $200 price point. It's killing me on these Titans. There is literally a truckload of other news aside from Transformers to talk about this week. There's a lot of redundant stuff that's floating around that I could have talked about, but we might kick some of that to next week. I do want to say that with Masters of the Universe, the Eternia update is coming along, and this video that they put out, and I wasn't able really to capture the video. I would have loved to have captured it and thrown it up here, but it's showing an assembly of it, which I think is fantastic. I love that they showed an assembly video on how to put it together. Doesn't seem too complex, too hard to do. Pretty simple overall. I think they do pre-assemble some stuff to it. Now looking at the colors, these are not the final colors. This is a prototype one or a test shot, and you know it's not going to come out exactly the same as the final product, but they're moving along pretty quick on this. It does look pretty good. They're showing a couple of things. I do see on the bottom right, you see the lower ramp. I was worried that that wasn't going to be included. Now this is the first sighting of that actually having a lower ramp. It does not have the connecting bridge ramp from the castle tower to the big tower, so I don't see that in here anywhere. And with that, though, it's pretty exciting. It's pretty interesting stuff, and they did show how you can do separately. You can have the power module moving around separately around just the center tower. I wonder if I could figure out a way to get another power module working around the other towers to get 3 going at once. That might be some fun. There's a lot of things to this pretty exciting update, but they did say something really big, that it will be here in 6 months. That's like November, so that's pretty soon. That's by the end of the year. Now I don't know if they're not counting 2 months of floating over here, and that's a bunch of nonsense. I mean, I don't know. They're saying shipping in 6 months would tell me that we should start getting it in November. So the Masterverse Classic Merman and Grizzlor are showing up. I did watch a video. Somebody, I forgot who it was, but got these in hand, showed that Grizzlor is basically Beastman. And Beastman recolored and then have some fuzziness to him is what it looked like from the video, from what I was ascertaining. But he looks pretty good. I actually think the Grizzlor looks really good. Now, I still do not care for this Merman. Even though it's a classic look Merman, it doesn't look classic enough for me personally. I've got one coming, don't worry. I got one coming. I'm not passing on or anything. But it just still feels like that first Merman with a slight upgrade. And I did not like that first Merman at all. And I think that's where they went with this. But anyway, you could also track down a Classics one. I've seen them as cheap as $40 for a Classics one that looks spot on perfect. Then there's this Eternia. It's just the middle tower. And I don't know if they're going to be selling all of the other towers separate or what's going on with that. But it's $65 is my understanding. You get the tower, you get like a little weapons rack and a computer, you get a Ninjor, you get a web store, you get a He-Man, you also get a Buzz-Off, and you get an attack track. And you get this huge thing, $65, and then Snake Mountain was $360 or some stupid nonsense crazy price, but this is $60. Now I'm not into this, and I'm not really going after this. I buy this stuff only on clearance if I see it on clearance, but I think this is really cool. I would love to see the other towers. I don't know why they didn't include them. Well, it would have been a higher price point. Maybe there's going to be other cool stuff with that. But this is an interesting set if you collect this stuff. So McFarlane Superpowers, there's the Invisible Jets up for pre-order at, well, pretty much only place that's got it all is Entertainment Earth. BBTS doesn't have it all up just yet for whatever reason. And so you got Invisible Jet, Batmobile. This is a new modern retro take. And then you've got a different Wonder Woman with a really nice, well, say really nice, a nicer cape. And Robin and Batman, and they're more classic look. And then, of course, we have a pretty interesting yet different looking Aquaman. So getting into this, I do want to show, I think the figures, we can see them here, but I want to show a few things. The Invisible Jet is short and stubby, and it does look a lot like, and I swear a lot like, what the Super 7, the Funko, it's not Super 7, the Funko did one, and it's not a Funko Pop, it's just a Funko with a small, like, 2-inch action figure. It's like they just blew this up slightly bigger than the Funko one. And it's got some sort of a mechanism inside that I guess you're going to have some sort of a grabber and a mechanism. That's kind of cool. It's something I didn't know about until we see these pictures. And then you have the wings and stuff. So you will have to assemble it. So the best way to say this is a stylized take on the Superpowers Batmobile. So I think a lot of people really wanted an exact replica of the original one, and for cheap. Like, hey, for $30 I should be able to get, the original one almost exactly the same, and that's not what you're getting with this. This is a whole new re-engineered and redesigned kind of deal, and it is what it is. That's just what I'm taking. Do I like this better than the original one? No. Do I hate it? No. I think it's kind of cool, and it'd be kind of fun to have Batmobile number 287 in your collection, I guess. But I do like the more classic look of Batman. The Robin's a little strange looking, but I'm still okay with it. Overall, this wave looks good. Okay, so more Turtle stuff this week than I thought we were going to get. So here's Super 7's Reaction, Turtles, and we've got classic look. So they're supposed to be classic. So I think they look fine for what they are if you're into this kind of Turtle stuff. But there's a lot more Turtle stuff coming from Playmates. Okay, so I'm not going to show every picture that's out there, but you can see this is a very stylized take on Leo, Raph, Donatello, Michelangelo, Splinter. Splinter looking like he has been just hit by a truck and then run through a sewer. I mean, could you imagine? Yeah, oh, never mind. And then Rocksteady, Bebop, Superfly, and Leatherhead. Much different looking figures than what we're used to seeing, but this is how they look. Anyhow. There's one in the package, so you can kind of get the idea. So they do look different. And so one of the arguments is that they just keep remaking. So Playmates keeps remaking the same old figures over and over. This is different, so can't complain about that, right? But the other argument is they should go classic, but make it with increased articulation like the Origins, and we should go that route. Well, I actually like the other route better than what they're doing here, but it's still cool. I'll probably catch some of them on clearance. Now, this is a different Pizza Fire van that's coming out. Not the Party Wagon. This is a whole different thing, although it has some similar characteristics to it, though. But this is not my party van, my Party Wagon, my Pizza Fire wagon. But it's cool to have some fun action features for some kids. Hopefully, they keep the price point down. If they charge too much for this, it's just going to sit on the shelf. Now, this is an interesting little scooter they got going on, the Battle Bike, Battle Cycle with Raphael, so you get a figure with it too. So that's something different, something new to add to your collection for the Turtles. And then there's also this Ninja Kick Cycle. So a lot of cool stuff that's coming with this toy line based off of a movie, a cartoon, or something. Nickelodeon's all over it. So looks interesting. Lots of product coming from Playmates. There's already lots of product coming from everywhere else too. Alright, so I promised we were going to talk about this. So this is a huge question mark, and I'm not going to have the answer till my BBTS order arrives. Now, BBTS got this figure in only, and for me, and I did have all my pre-orders spread out, and I canceled them everywhere, went straight through BBTS only, just so I can basically know where all my stuff's coming from. I don't like having 8 different places I'm pre-ordering from when it comes to, like, Silverhawks. So anyway, for whatever reason, I only have her coming, so I'm going to take a look at her when she shows up, but I do not know what she's going to look like. Now, you see the render on the left is what we pre-ordered and we want. We want that because that's what we pre-ordered and we are expecting. The one in the middle is what showed up at SDCC last year, and I don't think that that really hits the mark, but I don't think it's horrible either. I wasn't really turned off by it or upset about it. The picture on the right is the one from Shardimus Prime. You know, the biggest, most popular toy YouTube guy out there is Shardimus Prime. He's got the most subscribers. And with that, I think he was gifted this. I think this is one that was gifted to him. He hasn't done a review on it that I know of. But he had this in his hand. He showed a picture of it or something. I saw a video with him having something in his hand. But I thought he was gifted this, but he didn't do a review of it. Because I think that this one here isn't even the final product, which is why I'm sure he's not doing a review of it or something along those lines. But with that said, there's no in-hand pictures of something that's technically been released Thursday. And Ken over at Retro Toys Campaig's got his hands on Primer Hawk version of Quicksilver, and he looks super gray, super flat. So I don't know what to say other than that. And definitely not what we were expecting based on the renders. And so with that, I don't know. He said he raves about it. He really likes it. So maybe I'll like it more in hand also. But I don't know. Looking at this picture, I still like the Ramen one the most. And the Monday Nitro WCW entrance stage failed. It barely cracked the 4,000 mark, or didn't, right around the 4,000 mark. And it needed 5,000 or something along those lines. It was too expensive. It was $400, and it didn't. From what I understand with the people that follow this, that and my friends that talk about this, that they didn't have the correct figures for the tier or unlocks, all that kind of stuff, and the ones that were really good were too far along, like 9,000 unlock, and the price was too high. This should have been more like a 250 or 300, but of course, obviously, they're not going to charge that. They're going to charge the 400, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into why this failed. It didn't hit it, but sadly, I don't follow wrestling. I don't do the wrestling at all, but I think this thing looks phenomenal. I think it looks amazing, and I could see a lot of people doing a lot of great stuff with it, but sad that it didn't make it, but a lot of stuff's not making it these days. A lot of these big projects aren't going to make it, and makes me wonder about the next Star Wars HasLab. Just a little bit of G.I. Joe news. There is an update of box art. So this is somehow going to be part of the box art for the His Tank, but they just made a big deal about it. To me, it really was a non-update, really. But hey, better than nothing, right? So the His Tank should be coming soon. Well, not too soon, but I don't know the exact date on it. I did pre-order mine, or paid for mine already. Paid for it and all that kind of stuff. But interested in seeing when this arrives. But we're not going to get anything extra out of it, just the bare minimum. For whatever reason, I was thinking we would get some of the figures early with Eternia, but Hasbro never does that. But I guess I was wrong about Eternia. Okay, so the Bad Batch Walmart exclusives are live to pre-order. They went up on the 4th of May. They're $28 a piece, which the good thing is that the $28 is the same price if you're getting Wrecker, but it's $28 for the rest of them. That should be like 23 or I guess 25 or whatever, but it's a lot of money. This set is all the like kind of hypercolor look to them, and it's not even, you don't even get all the figures, you don't get all the characters, you can't even get a crosshair. Anyway, this is what it is, and these figures are up for pre-order. There are 2 of them that are sold out already. That would be Fives and Clone Commando are already sold out. The rest, there's plenty to order, I'm sure. So our May the 4th was actually one of the better showings I've seen in a long time from Hasbro, but there's also a lot of lazy layup figures revealed in this, but I'm going to try to go through it as quick as I can and try to stay on point. But there's some good and there's some bad, but nothing really horrible. Okay, so we're getting a Clone Wars version of Ahsoka Padawan, and the thing about this is that we've seen a lot of Ahsokas lately, and this one is, in my opinion, this is the Ahsoka most collectors wanted the most. And they waited till, what, Ahsoka number 11? I don't know how many there were, but Ahsoka number 6 or 7 or something along those lines in the Black Series, till we get the one that people really want, which it's all about business and making the money, but it's still a little frustrating for collectors. I personally just don't really care. If I get her on sale or something, I'll get her on sale. That'll be nice. We're getting another Chewbacca, and all of these are in the closed box packaging. So we get the announcement that we're going to do away with the closed box packaging, but all the stuff that's already in the works is already worked in with the closed box packaging. So there it is. So especially repacks, and this isn't technically a repack. There's new upgraded head and a few different things with this guy, but with that, I don't need another Chewbacca. But a lot of people do, and I understand that, so I'm not going to be upset about it. And we're not going to spend too much time talking about those Clone Wars. We already looked at, like, pretty much all of them, so we're going to skip to something that I think is really cool. I just said Clone Wars. I meant Bad Batch. All those Bad Batch figures, just showed them all in that one shot. We're not going to talk about them all. So there's just reissues and stuff, mostly. This is new. This is Darth Malgus. I've been wondering how long it take till we get this. And there's a few different, like, swappable accessories. I guess you get a different faceplate and stuff with it, but this is something we've been needing. The character is very interesting. He's not a mainstream character, but one that I think just looks awesome. It's like, what do you do to make an awesome character that's more scary, I guess you could say, scary looking than Darth Vader, but has a lot of the feels of Darth Vader, but of course a much different character. So with that, I think he's awesome. He is going to be a deluxe, though, with a deluxe price, I think $35. I did pre-order all my stuff, all of my Star Wars stuff, through Pulse while I still have the free shipping. Now, we did already see this one here, and this one here is called Doc Onar, but everybody feels like this is a precursor to getting a true blue Hammerhead, which is what I would want, and I look forward to that. Pretty much completing out the original, like, 96 that we got from Kenner. It's gonna be a lifelong quest, though. I don't know if I'm gonna live long enough to get them all, but I'll try. There's also a Black Series Magna Guard. It's going to be in a closed box, so no need to even show that packaging. What a waste. But this is pretty cool looking, interesting. This is definitely this is the Clone Wars one, but still it kind of has that good prequel type vibe going on. It kind of feels like prequel stuff going on. Pretty nice. So we're getting an all new Mandalorian. I don't know if this one is going to be considered a deluxe price point. I don't think it is. I think it's going to be standard price point. Standard $28, or I don't know what's the standard price of a Black Series nowadays, but I think he looks great. I got some buddies that are really excited about it, but it's really hard for me to get excited because now I just feel duped into buying all the other versions, and I'm kind of in a freeze for Mandalorians. I don't really want to buy another Mandalorian because I actually just boxed up like 8 different Mandalorian things. I don't know what to do with. I'm not excited. It's great. I wish they would have done this from the get-go, but they didn't. And I'm sure it's going to sell, though. I'm sure everyone's going to buy it and put it next to their other 4 or 5 Mandos they've got going on right now. Black Series Wicket. Okay, this is where we'll start getting into the layups. And it's literally hanging at Target right now. And I'm happy I got mine. I'm glad that they gave it to us. But it's almost like the factory isn't even cooled off the mold yet from producing the last run, and we're announcing the next run in a closed box, garbage box packaging, when you have the best packaging they could think of on the 40th anniversary packaging. So I just don't know, and they're doing a lot of those. All right, let's get into some vintage collection. We got the Inquisitor, Grand Inquisitor coming in. I do see a lot of issues with this Grand Inquisitor, and a lot of people that want the original one, the one that we got in Rebels, and so I understand all that. I will probably get it, I'm pretty sure. But this is the Inquisitor for vintage collection. Then we have Luke Skywalker and Grogu, which I think is, I just don't get it. I don't understand why they're going through all this. I guess I do get it. They're just going to reissue the same figures and different configurations with a different accessory, and people are going to buy it. But it's in closed box. I don't see the point. But a lot of people, I guess, are going to get excited about it and happy for this. But this is something I'm excited for. I'm excited for these Ewoks figures. I wish they'd go through and just remake all the Ewoks and all the droids. And I do have a full set of carded Ewoks, and I'm just going to add this to my collection. I actually pre-ordered 2, so I could open one if I choose to. But this is a Wicket and a Kneesaa. Now this Kneesaa, I hope I'm saying that right, is an unreleased one that they actually had some prototypes they looked at. But this is obviously a modern version, but this would probably fit very well in your vintage collection of Ewoks, and I like it. And you get the coins, so double win, triple win. I think that really they should do all the coins for all the Power of the Force and all of those. I mean, this is the time. If they wait much longer, not as many people will be interested, and if they wait much longer, I don't know what's going to happen with the market. But anyway, Ewoks and droids, this is the time to do that. So let me know what you think about this week's weekly news and review. What other cool stuff's going on out there that I missed? I'd like to stay in the know. Like and subscribe. Anti-Deer Hanger out.